So this class today, we're going to be going over some attacks from the omoplata position. We are not finishing omoplatas themselves. That's a whole different situation. I believe that, personally, I have a belief that omoplatas are one of the best attacks in general to sequence into other attacks, taking the back, sweeping, other finishes other than the omoplata, especially if you are maybe smaller than somebody else. Omoplata is very, very good position to mitigate people putting their weight on you, stacking you. It's kind of hard to do that from an omoplata position because you're off to the side. So I think if you're smaller, you can find a lot of value in getting well into the omoplata, especially from a sweeping sort of situation. So as I said, we're basically going to start off with this will progress in one way. Does everybody know how to do an omoplata? Does anybody not know how to do an omoplata at all? We're going to start off with a simple sweep with the omoplata that I like to use just to kind of get you used to getting in that position. It's just one way to get into the position. We could cover a multitude of different things, but that's another class. So I'm going into this assuming that you kind of know how to get omoplatas already, but I will show you one just as a base layer, and then we'll start layering on top of that, okay? Could somebody be so kind to assist me? Yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned, omoplata it's very good. And if you don't have omoplatas in your game and you don't do them a lot because maybe you don't finish them, that's the biggest problem I see with a lot of people with omoplatas. They don't like it because if you haven't put the time in to learn how to finish them properly, they can be hard to finish. But I don't necessarily find them hard to finish if I'm trying to finish them, but this class is more using the position as an advantageous thing. So one simple or basic sweep that I like, that I will hit pretty much on every sparring training session, I'll get this on somebody or a few people, is just a basic omoplata sweep. So one way we can set this up, I kind of like having a cross grip, or I do like having a cross grip. If you're a no-gi, you just grab the wrist and you want to kind of just isolate the arm here, right? If you're in the gi, of course, you have the luxury of wrapping the hand. So this hand, I like to put my foot on the hips and open up this way. And essentially, does everybody know how to do an armbar from guard? So basically, this position, right? Everybody know how to do this? That's essentially what we're going to be doing from here. So we're here. Don't pull this across your body because we're not going to be able to isolate the arm. And we need the arm to make it omoplata. So we're here. Cross grip. If it's no gi, you can just grab the wrist or keep it over here in your pocket, essentially. Understood? Holding it. I'm taking my hand. I'm pivoting as I go under the leg. Maybe you can't see this, but I'm going under the leg and scooping the leg up. You tracking? Everybody got it? And I'm at the same time, I do this. We're doing this very slow, but when we're initiating the sweep, we want a little bit of speed. We want momentum because that's what's going to carry them all the way through. Here. Okay? A couple of things that maybe are not apparent if I just do it. So I'm here, it's my wrist, grabbing here, I'm kicking that same motion just like we're doing an arm bar, and I really want to try to throw my heels to the floor out in front of me. That's what brings them down to the mat, okay? Another thing, especially if you're doing this against bigger people, you kind of want to look where you're going because that will help you create momentum to finish the sweep. So obviously now I'm doing this slow motion to just show you, but at speed, here, slow motion, turning. Keep everything tight. There's no slack here for him to move. We're turning. We come up, and we're keeping this. If it's no gi, you want to start looking for the elbow right away, okay? One thing that I've probably caught a few people in this week is I will stay on top of this, and there's a very easy, like, wrist lock, arm lock right off this. So I like to keep this before I transition away, and maybe you just want to use this to sweep. and end up on top, which is fine. But if I can get a submission out of the position right away, why not take advantage of that? And I'm essentially pinching my legs together to do that. Try to pull your arm up. Take your arm up. It's hard, it's very tight. And I'm using my legs to pinch that. So one more time, we'll go through the whole sequence and just try to get that little arm bar there. Just as a bonus or wrist lock if you hate yourself, if you're self-loathing, you like wrist locking people. This is gonna be kind of quick. Sometimes in the motion, this is a little bit of a slower setup, but sometimes I might just throw my legs out. I don't put it on the hip. That's optional. If you want to do it more tighter, a little bit more thing, but if you just want, like, the person is big and you need to go ballistic, that's up to you. Sometimes I'll put the foot on the leg. Sometimes I'm just throwing them both out, and I'm on top. One note that I'll make about this, I've seen some people who grab, I want to always go under the leg from the front, okay? So if you go from the back and he grabs my arm, just grab my sleeve, guess what I'm in now? I roll, guess what I'm in? It's like 50-50, okay? So don't grab, don't go up from the asshole, go up from the front way. So be mindful of putting your hand up the middle, because if they grab it, they can counter you into it, the same thing you put them in. Make sense? Anybody want to see it again before we go?
So grab the pants, or?
Yeah, you can always grab the pants. This is gonna, if you can get that up on the shoulder, that's gonna give you a lot of leverage. That's gonna be your first thing. Yes, you can grab, like around the ankle, you can grab the pants, but if you can get this higher up, that's gonna allow you to get his weight and center of gravity really moving to finish the sweep. Any other questions about that before I cut you loose? Yep. You want to just pin it. You're like with a cross grip. So I'm not going to grab the gi right now. So I'm just isolating it here, and I just have a hold of the arm. Just grab it. The better you can put it in your pocket if it's on your chest. Sometimes I'll isolate it like this. And you'll need to make sure that you're a little bit tighter because you don't have this stuff to hold on to. But you can just grab it and just try to keep it against your body. That will make it easier. I'm not a clapper, so 1, 2, 3, fuck off. I clapped anyway. Gotcha. No. Keep the arm. Yeah, always keep the arm. Keep it tight. Is it not working for anybody? Is everybody getting it? When you do this, it's not working for you?
When partner on top claims with his hand on the floor, how do you supposed to get your leg?
Because if you're coming underneath them, part of it is once you're underneath, yeah, like even if you post on the floor, it's a little bit different now, but that's not the most common reaction because generally I'll get that leg out first. So I'm here, now he's gonna post, right? Now it doesn't matter, my leg's out. So most of the time, I don't really get that reaction very much because you wanna do this with urgency. Now if I'm just slow and I'm kind of going and he puts the arm down, yeah, that might be a little bit more problematic. But generally when you do this, you're here and you're out and turn before that ever comes. Now the hand's on the ground, but it doesn't matter, you're gone. That makes sense? You just need to do it quicker. Get your hips turned. If you don't, either put your foot on the hip to really turn yourself or get your arm really, really underneath to get turned. You want your legs facing the same direction as your head, and your head is the same direction as your legs. You're changing, you're in line, and then you go opposite. The quicker you can do that, the quicker you can initiate the whole thing. I know some folks are new and they're not good at that sort of motion, but that motion is everywhere in jiu-jitsu. Arm locks, omoplatas, pendulum sweeps, it's the same motion, and you're gonna see in many, many things. So the better you can get at practicing being able to move your hips and getting your hips out, it's gonna make those transitions to those techniques much more successful. It takes a little practice, that's all. Just, you had a question, yes?
My feet will keep getting stuck.
You keep getting stuck. Generally what happens is you're not rolling them over with enough force. You're kind of sitting up when they're halfway on top of your legs. So if you're here and you're just like this, look, now he's on my legs, right? You gotta make sure you roll them clean off of you. And that's why the little extra momentum, force. So from here, my legs are essentially straight. I'm clear of them. Just gotta practice a little bit more. Just try to make sure that you don't try to sit up until they're all the way completely, the revolution is complete. But people are gonna fall funny sometimes. Occasionally that might be like that. You get caught in their gi or they do something weird in the meantime. But if you learn anything today, and if this is the only thing that you take away, this sweep has served me, not necessarily all on the same grips all the time, but the same exact sweep from other grips using the omoplata has served me really well. So even if this is the only thing you take away, this will work. Works for me wonderfully. Any other questions on that before we go to the next thing? Nope, let's go. So the next one, we're gonna assume we're in the omoplata position. We're here, okay? Maybe you just don't want to do the omoplata. I don't know, like exactly the reasoning. Maybe you just feel like you're not good at them. You want to just do other stuff. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. You don't have to just do this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this top leg, or the leg that's around the arm, and we're gonna bring it inside here, okay? So essentially, the knee is coming, now the knee is behind the back. Everybody sees that, everybody agrees, the knee's behind the back. The knee goes now inside on the belly, okay? This top leg is gonna now thread through to the other side. Kind of see where we're going with this? 1, 2, an alternative, you can throw it over through between the legs and keep it on top of the legs. This side, this second variation is gonna keep them from rolling. This side is probably gonna not keep them from rolling. Bit of a preference thing. You can try, I want you to try it both ways. So we're here, and now we have an arm lock right here. If he rolls, which will happen sometimes, finish the arm lock. You can finish it behind the head. Back. A couple of small pointers about this. So we're in an omoplata position. Really try to, if you can force them down with your leg, this is pretty strong. So you had it in the pocket. I like to grab, not grab the arm. Does everybody see what I'm doing? I'm grabbing the arm on the tricep. Spin. Maybe this is better. So I'm here, power down. I'm grabbing the tricep here. That way I isolate the arm. If I don't grab the tricep, sometimes he might start hiding it. It just gives me more work. So once I'm out, I like to hold it. Thread the top foot across onto the hip. Now, I can finish the arm lock from here. We also can thread it over the leg if you can reach it. This will, maybe you want the roll. Maybe you want the roll because if you don't get the arm lock, you still want the sweep. Maybe you just feel comfortable finishing it from here versus letting them roll, whatever. So you have two options. Across the hip or behind the leg. Behind the leg, if he tries to roll, can't. If it's in front, you can roll, but that's fine. Finish the arm lock as normal, thumb up. One thing that I will say, sometimes if they roll and you're not super tight on that, the arm can slide out. So when they roll, always give it a tug. Kind of do this in almost all arm lock situations to just reinforce that you're deep enough. Show it one more time and so we're here, we're in omoplata position. Power down. Grab the tricep. Leg goes. We can just finish it from here. If he wants to roll. From there. or you can thread the leg through and finish it on the top as well. This one's probably going to be a little different if you've never experienced this position, but this is a pretty good position because it opens up some other attacks, which you're going to see here in a minute. Does anybody have any questions about that? I'm sure you will, just not yet. 1, 2, 3. No, yeah, okay. I just go.
More on your belly. You're more on your belly. You're more on your belly.
As we've seen, this one is there's a bit more pieces to the puzzle here, right? This is more on the of an advanced sort of position. A couple of things that I will say that are pretty key. One group asked me, like, what if they're just trying to rip their arm out? Well, two things. If you have a really good grip and you're putting downward pressure on it, it's kind of hard for them to rip their arm out. Is it possible? Of course. I mean, sometimes maybe it's super slippery. Maybe you kind of relax the grip a little bit to do something, and then he just maybe. But if you're doing your job and everything is tight, and you're putting a lot of, you're using your hips, and you're trying to keep it tight. If it's just here open and loose, does this look very secure? Right. So as I'm doing it, I'm tight. I'm putting good grips on it. Another thing, something that was happening, if you don't capture the hand properly, in an arm lock, anybody learn in an arm lock, you want the thumb, like you're giving them a handshake, you want the thumb facing the ceiling, right? Well, that works when your hips are facing the ceiling. So you essentially want the thumb facing the same direction, whatever your hips are. So if I don't have so right now, just so you can see, I have the thumb facing the same way as my hips, right? But if I don't, if the thumb is facing towards me, he can stack into me. Somebody was like, what if he wants to, yeah, this can happen. All I'm doing is grabbing the thumb. I'm not even putting any pressure. Try to stack me. I'm not putting hardly any support in my leg. Stack me. This solves that problem. Some of you had this issue. If you don't capture the hand properly, not only do you run into issues where they can maybe stack you, but you're not going to finish the arm lock. I mean, maybe you can push it the opposite direction, but we want to use our hips and the force as well as offer optimal control, right? Capture the thumb, and we can do that. Another thing that some folks ran into, which is sort of an unnatural thing when you're just sitting here slow and static. People are like, what if they're just very tight and you can't get your legs or anything in there? Does that really happen when you're sparring? Do people just sit there like this? No, people are trying to move, they're trying to defend. So maybe occasionally you have somebody that's an omoplata and they just shell up as hard as they can. Somewhat unnatural, but you can still finish the arm lock. If, let's say he just pinches everything as tight as you can. I can't get in there, I can't do anything. You can just still finish it here. With this leg on top, pinching. You can still finish it. But this affords me some other options, which I'm gonna show here in a minute. So that's why I like this as well. Any other questions about that particular thing? And the arm lock, was there any problems that anybody had that I haven't addressed?
Yeah.
Pretty good, yeah.
When you pull your knee back from the omoplata, whenever I put the other leg through and then roll, I'd always end up like, it just wouldn't work. Like this knee would be like trapped, the foot would be trapped under them or something.
Can you show me?
Yeah.
Sprint up. First of all, you're not pulling it across the spin. Okay, we're in a normal block. Nice.
So and this that goes through,
Mm-hmm.
and then you roll.
Why are you trying to roll him from there? Well, if you have the arm and you can finish the arm lock, why are you initiating the roll?
Yep. No good reason.
A couple things as well. Stay in this position is a good thing to say. So, you see this space here between his butt and his heel? When you want to finish this arm lock, probably now, I'm not going to reach down there because that's dirty, but his elbow's probably right on your junk right now, right?
Yeah.
You need to get your butt closer to your heel. Yeah, that's what you want. See all the extra slack that he took out of there? Now I know that I can feel the elbows right there. It's not on the twig and berries anymore. Now you can finish your arm lock. Now you can finish it. Yeah, so you wouldn't want to initiate the roll unless you want to. If they do decide to roll on their own, you want to be in position to capitalize on it. If you're out gripping and trying to do it with weird grips, it might unravel.
Okay.
Somebody else had asked, do you try to cover the back at the same time or try to cover the leg to keep them from rolling? You can, but I mean, you only have two hands, so you're trying to cover as many bases as possible. But if you have a really, really good secure section on the arm, you can maybe try to cover the back with the other arm. But if you have 2-on-1 and you have a better secure position and they do initiate a roll, do you think you're going to have a better success of finishing the arm lock with two arms on one arm, or one arm and then one arm somewhere else? What do you think is going to be higher percentage to capitalize on the roll? 2-on-1, right? So somebody else had asked me, everybody in my gym, every time somebody gets in an omoplata, they roll. Okay. They just swept themselves. If they want to roll and give you 2 points, but if I have the arm and they roll, guess what? They swept themselves, and what else can we do? So if they want to roll and just make your life easier, take it. Take the sweep, take the arm lock. There's no right way. If everybody just wants to roll every time, that's giving up 2 points. That's what you're advancing position. That's also good. But if you can finish them at the same time, that's even better, right? Anything else before we go to the next piece of the puzzle? You guys look real confused today. It's Thursday. Okay, so we're here. Let's say maybe for whatever reason, maybe the arm, like you're losing it, some sort of other thing, right? We're gonna reach up, grab the belt. Everybody understand we're in that same position. We've already initiated with the legs across the body, okay? Has everybody got that? You tracking? I'm gonna grab the belt. I'm gonna base up. This bottom leg comes out. Where's it coming? Out. Sorry, Steve's small. He got away from me there. And we're going to the back. Same position. Legs across. For some reason, maybe we don't feel like we can get the arm to build up. Bottom leg comes out. I'll normally just pull in like this, but I could also grab the belt and then go to a seat belt as he's coming down as well for a little bit more secure back tape. Also, sometimes maybe somebody's gonna ask me, what if they just base? If you lose the belt, you can also just grab the gi as we're doing here. So people are like, what if they won't let me pull them over? Take the back this way as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. But rewind this. On the back. Be a little careful. As a note, when you do this, we're having a wardrobe malfunction here. When you do this, sometimes this arm can get caught, like you can almost arm lock them. Some people would like to clear this and do it, but I don't like. I like controlling the arm if possible. Impressive, right? Sort of. Need to see it again? Or do you think you got it?
Got it.
Again? Again. Better watch this time, all right? I just showed it 3 times. Watch. I'm kidding. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're here. Position. Across. Whatever reason. The arm lock. I can't get it right. I feel like it's not the thing. Belt can be the back. No gi. You might just go ahead and grab their love handle. On the back. Okay? What are we gonna say this time? You pick. What are we gonna say? Twig and berries. 1, 2, 3. Twig and berries. Don't clap. So, a couple of questions on this. Steve. Yeah. Some people are like, well, what if you can't pull them over on you? What if they're like strong? What did I say in the talk? How can you still take the back? What's that? Jump on the back. You can jump on the back. You know, everybody's reactions are going to be different. Some people might posture up. Some people might not know what the hell you're doing. You know, especially once you start getting good at if it's right now it's slow, and he knows exactly what we're doing, so he can defend. He's already understanding what the hell's happening. But in the motion of it, you get good at this. You put time in on it. You can get the attacks off faster than they can think about it. You know what I'm saying? So once we're here, we initiate this. For some reason, essentially, if you guys don't see this, we have a hook in already. Does everybody understand that we have a hook in? This leg comes out, look, we have a hook. So if for some reason, maybe he's basing really hard, if we have the arm still trapped, we should see, he doesn't really have anything on this side. I'm sitting on his arm now, essentially blocking. The arm is out. Sure, it might be a different animal. Then we can come up and start attacking some different stuff. So the reaction is gonna vary. Not everybody does the same exact reaction all the time. Maybe the arm comes out and he postures up. Maybe you have the arm pinned and he doesn't have anything and you can pull him over easily. So you're gonna have to just, there's not one size fits all for every technique. But the principles are gonna be the same. Attacking the back, you wanna control the upper body, get your hooks in, score. So if you can't just pull them over because they're based up, well then, jiu-jitsu doesn't end because somebody just decides to do something, right? That's the name of the game. So not everything works 100% of the time and the reaction is gonna be different. Sometimes you fuck up and you lose part of the position and then you have to just go with it. We're kind of out of time, so we don't really have any more time to show other stuff. I do want to kind of just plant the seed and kind of show you like a couple of potential things that do happen from the omoplata position. That way you're not just thinking, oh, it's just this. There are other things. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions about what we've shown today or anything you want me to clarify about specifically what we've already covered? Everybody's good with it? If somebody rolls, are you upset about that? He is. Everybody rolls in my gym. Okay. Let them roll. Let them sweep themselves. Cool story. A couple of other things. The things that happen, just so, yeah, so we're in omoplata. Guys, there's other ways to take it back. Magic moves like this. Let's say you're trying to initiate the omoplata. Let me do another side. Turn around. And people posture up. Right? And he's like, oh my God. There's other sweeps from the omoplata position. And there's just on and on and on. So use the omoplata as a multifaceted attack position. We learned how to sweep from the omoplata, right? We learned a submission from the omoplata. There wasn't an omoplata, right? We learned a back take from the omoplata position. There's more. But just like anything else in jiu-jitsu, if you want to fucking get good at jiu-jitsu, you got to do jiu-jitsu. The cheat code is not more techniques. If you're shitty at the stuff that you're already shitty at, you think you're going to add new stuff and all of a sudden you're going to be amazing, it's a fucking lie. Put the time in, get good at jiu-jitsu, stop lying to yourself with magic fucking tricks. That's it. We're done. Have a good day.
Amen.